Welcome, everyone. I'd like to thank you all for accepting my online invitation. Our panel discussion for today is about the importance of physical education and sports programs and the challenges faced by Bataeños amidst COVID-19. So, before we start, I would like to introduce myself. I'm Juliet Buan. I'm taking up Bachelor of Science in Exercise and Sports Science, Major in Fitness Management at Bataan Peninsula State University campus at Orani campus. And I will be moderating this discussion. Hopefully, we'll learn as much as all of you on our topic for today. So let me introduce the members of our panel and then turn it over to them to state their own point of views in every questions asked. So our first panelist will be Ms. Renalyn Sanchez, our education, followed by Ms. Madeline Mamuay. She is our legal panelist. And then followed by Ms. Marifer Cabanday, our practitioner, and Ms. Laika Ann Black, our international panelist. So now, I will turn it over to Ms. Renalyn Sanchez for our first question. What do you think are the common causes and risk factors that affect physical education and sports programs these days?
Hi everybody, thank you for having me here. It's a great opportunity to interact with all of you in this important discussion and able to learn from all of you as well. As a student, I believe that bad diet, lack of physical exercise, and obesity have an impact on physical education. This day, people believe they have a less free time to engage in physical activity and sports. Lack of social support, lack of time, lack of enjoyment, having children, having health concerns, and feeling self-conscious conscious are all in variables that influence physical exercise participation. Furthermore, harmful substances such as air pollution or proximity to toxic site, the focus of classic environment epidemiology, such as what are experiencing right now due COVID-19, access to various health-related resources, such as healthy or unhealthy foods, recreational resources, and medical care, are all major elements of physical surrounding.
Thank you so much for that intro. Actually, that's true. At one point, especially when you have kids to take care of and house to maintain, there's no enough time to recreate. Now, I'm going to turn it over to Miss Madeline. Can you please share and explain holistic and integrative approaches to prevent on a national and global scale?
Hi everyone. I hope that you're all safe during this time of pandemic. For me, I would say that the biggest thing that stood out that I actually lament is that physical activity is the key determinant of health across the lifespan. Heart disease, colon and breast cancer, diabetes mellitus, hypertension, osteoporosis, anxiety, and depression, and other disorders are all linked to a lack of physical exercise. Its major goal is to teach life principles such as collaboration, accountability, self-confidence, responsibility, and self-discipline via athletics. Sports school assist pupils prepare for life's problems. They improve students' physical and mental capacities and assist them in achieving their life objectives. Here in Bataan, activities like Zumba and yoga, programs for the elderly is being held before the new normal. But since the pandemic arose, some of the physical activity is taught via online in comfort of our homes. In addition, physical sports training center is raised here in Bataan and further encourage our youth and community to engage into physical activity in sports.
Thank you so much, Miss Madeline. Actually, that's true, and everyone I think is on the same page as yours. Miss Laika, what platforms or mechanisms do you think identify health and socioeconomic consequences?
Hi everyone. I hope you're all good today. Um, the first point I would like to make is that since pandemic started, physical education and sports paradigm shifts. Before, we tend to attend face-to-face classes that keep us physically active. But since pandemic started, most of us are sedentary. And this socio-economic consequence that we face today is our problem. Some people affected their lives and it just stopped there and then. The impact of this pandemic become our challenge every day. Feels like we are battling something. It gives us mental health, financially, physically problems. As I've mentioned earlier, some of us begun to have sedentary lifestyle, doesn't engage to any physical activity, mentally and physically drained because even if we are working from home, we have a lot on our plates. There are chores and some of us study. We almost don't have time to engage ourselves to physical activities and sports. Sports were banned during pandemic and all of the sports arena, even in the provinces, courts like basketball courts aren't allowed to open for players. Leagues are banned also. But now, in the midst of pandemic, we adapted already. Even though there are a lot of COVID variants coming out, we know what to do, and if we uh, and we are prepared already. And even in this time of pandemic, many of us try to engage, not actually try, but they do engage. There are many platforms, social media platforms that encourage you to engage into physical activities. Like for example, TikTok. As we all know, TikTok is one of the famous application in the Play Store since this pandemic started. All the friends I know have accounts on TikTok, and if you browse TikTok, you will see people who inspire other people to engage in any physical activity. Some coaches and trainers enter TikTok to advise and give people free training on how to do proper diet and exercise. Next, next on our list is YouTube. We all know what YouTube do and it gives us information about exercise and sports, anything you want to aspire and want to be in your future. I encourage everyone to engage to physical activity as soon as possible because your future self will thank you for engaging your present self in any type of physical activity.
Thank you, Miss Laika. It's your turn, Miss Marifer. What do you think are the regulating and statutory policies and guidelines that examine social and economic determinants and related health outcomes of physical education?
Hi everyone, thanks for having me. Equality, protection, and meaningful participation are three key values. Quality physical education has been found to create a good attitude toward physical exercise, reduce the likelihood of young people participating in dangerous conduct, improve academic achievement, and provide a platform for greater social inclusion. Even though economic and social policies are not considered part of the healthcare system, they can have an influence on health and illness through influencing social determinants of health. Adult survival rates have been studied in four categories: housing and neighborhood, job, family strengthening or marriage, and income supplements. The majority of these policies are targeted at low income people. Many social interventions have health as a secondary objective or impact. When it comes to assessing health, the initiatives provide mental and physical gains in more than half of the cases, albeit some effects fade with time. We also identified substantial differences in program eligibility based on gender and family composition. Future social policies should examine health outcomes using verified health measures, target women across the socioeconomic range more extensively, and consider family caregiving commitments, as ignoring them might have unintended health repercussions. Among the policy options considered were childcare, child poverty, inclusive economic investment plans, active labor market programs, conditions of employment, social cash transfers, affordable homes, and planning and regulatory techniques to ensure air quality and mitigate climate change. The World Health Organization, or WHO, has identified three common actions for improving global health. Number one is education. A huge number of studies have found a strong correlation between higher education and improved health, and that education is a reliable predictor of decreased mortality rates. People with a university or post-secondary degree are more likely to be in a good or excellent health. Second is social security. In situations where people are unable to earn a living, countries with some form of social protection have better health and economic outcomes. For example, safety net or social security system. And last is urban development. The physical environment in which people live has a significant impact on their health. Overcrowding, wet living conditions, and criminality are all factors that have a negative impact on health. The World Health Organization concludes that access to adequate housing, healthy and safe urban settings, and transportation circumstances are substantially affected by health outcomes.
Thank you, Miss Marifer. I can see that Miss Laika wanted to speak.
I would like to ask Miss Marifer on how we can encourage the youth, especially those who are less privileged, to participate in physical education.
Thank you for that question, Ms. Laika. I believe that the world leaders should establish free access facilities for children to play, participate in sports, recreation, and cultural activities in order to enrich their childhood experiences, and that children with disabilities should be entitled to the services they require in order to reach their full potential. It is necessary to create appropriate national institutions and programs. Physical exercise should be promoted for its social, personal enjoyment, and health benefits, in addition to its competitive features. Physical exercise for everyone necessitates a focus on providing equal access to community amenities to all users. Community amenities must be diversified enough to appeal to a wide range of people. To increase universal interest and engagement in physical exercise, efforts must be made. School physical education curriculum must be given continued attention to ensure the creation of complete, high quality programs for all young people.
Thank you, Miss Marifer. I think the efforts to administer this should start with our leaders. Miss Madeline, would you like to say something?
Yes, thank you. According to Ms. Laika, social media apps like TikTok help us to get fit, but not for everyone. From my own point of view, TikTok and other social media apps has this advantage, especially in our mental health. Despite the fact that network is intended at teenagers and children, there are many adult users, which is just great. However, it becomes a concern when this grown person transmits implicit message and photographs to minors. TikTok can also jeopardize your and your children's privacy. In general, children are unaware of the privacy risks associated with putting their lives on display for others. Kids frequently film in front of their homes, showcasing the interiors, sharing their location, showcasing their parents' automobiles, displaying the license plates, and so on. TikTok and other social media platforms, this can be extremely detrimental to one's mental health. Because of social media, some children have turned to self-harm or develop other illness such as anorexia and bulimia.
Thank you. I agree with that. Social media is not for everyone. We need to be cautious with our surroundings as well. Of course, our safety is our first priority. Miss Laika, would you like to counter?
I didn't say that TikTok is for everyone. Of course, there is pros and cons in using social media platforms. unless you are stiff and you can't dance well and still posting videos of yourself dancing on the social media.
Absolutely. I'm not a dancer, so I wouldn't dare post videos of myself dancing. That wouldn't be hilarious.
Okay, guys, let's get back to our topic. Let's deal with the dancing in full detail later after the discussion. Anyone can start sharing their thoughts about what Renalyn has answered earlier. Miss Madeline, do you have anything to say?
Based on what Ms. Renalyn had mentioned earlier, how can we persuade the youth to stop using harmful substances and engage in physical education and sports programs?
Several researchers has shown that physical activity can strengthen resistance to addiction. However, there may be an indirect link between medicines and exercise. Students to exercise may be more likely to make healthy choices in general, to support teammates, coaches, and family, as well other social media components of involvement in organized activities and time management skills, and that active youth learn can all help to prevent their substances misuse. Apart from the increasing that health to of the growing brain, there are several grounds to believe that physical activity can help young individuals avoid substances differences, offering a variety of interesting tasks to children and teenager teenager in generally the greatest approach to capture and attention. Physical activity, especially in natural settings, provide healthy chances to adolescents to develop new abilities, take risks, and attain their goals. Interacting with peers outside of uh, the safety of their own homes is also be- beneficial to their mental health.
Well, I totally agree with Miss Renalyn, but we should also consider that there is pandemic. How can we exercise and interact outside really when we know that we are not safe?
That's true. I'm afraid to go out and socialize during this time of pandemic. But of course, we can be active while staying indoors. Am I right?
I agree with you. I think that Ms. Renalyn's statement is not carefully thought out. We know that this is fact to look at. We cannot put our children and community to harm.
Yeah, but that doesn't apply to everyone. Some still choose to work out outside despite of the danger of getting the virus. Bye.
I beg your pardon, but I need to say something. I think we're getting warmed up here and moving away from our main topic. So just be reminded, if you want to counter, do it with respectful manner. So anyone wants to continue?
Of course, yes. If you have a fever, cough, or difficulty breathing, you should not exercise. Stay at home and relax. Get medical help and call ahead. It is extremely suggested to exercise is isolated religions in with social distancing, at least 2 meters apart, because droplets contaminated with the viruses from 6 persons while sneezing or coughing can travel further at due speed and wind direction. Social separation and extremely crucial for outdoor activity. It is the best to avoid conversing while exercise or engaging in a group fitness class before exercise. Face mask, either a cotton mask or a surgical mask, should be used on the daily basis when going out in a public.
You have a point. Self observation is also required during exercise to check any physical irregularities because excessive exercise may decrease some components of immune function. Only moderate to intensity exercise is recommended. Wearing a mask while exercising might restrict airflow and reduce oxygen levels, creating breathing issues. Thus, the type of mask should be chosen carefully.
I totally agree. We can still be safe while exercising outdoor. During the safe order, being outside in nature for physical exercise such as walking, jogging, or hiking is permitted and encouraged. You can stay cheerful and healthy by moving your body and enjoying some fresh air. Walking and bicycling outside while following social distancing guidelines are fantastic strategies to support your mental, emotional, and physical health requirements.
Thank you, Ms. Marfer. Okay, at home, for further questions, at home, how can kids and families make the most of the increasing dependence on screens, which is helping to retain a feeling of normalcy during lockdown while also balancing other crucial activities? Anyone?
It is so critical for youngsters to play and converse with the first during unusual moment of high unpredictability and regularity. During a pandemic, video games and social media may provide significant experiences such as connectivity in a time when social interaction is restricted, amusement in a time when options are limited, and a tool to help alleviate uh, worry and panic. Active parenting tactics can help to abilitate limited concern about the content of some video games rather, as well as the variety of online threats that befall children who play them. Talking to children about their internet experiences, ensuring they not play games designed for an adolescents audience or rather, and validating their general mood and happiness while playing are all examples. Online gaming with your children and is an excellent method to keep them safe. It also possible to have a lot of fun with it.
I agree to that, Mr. Nolan. Take into account that many children will not get the level of physical exercise that they are accustomed to during pandemic. We need innovative techniques to help youngsters stay active if learning, socializing, and playing are now restricted to the screen. Because as outside movement is prohibited, the WHO recommend active video games and online fitness programs as a way to keep healthy at home. This is an excellent option since it combines physical activity with entertainment. This advice is applicable both during the COVID-19 outbreak and other things have returned to normal. Who also provide ideas for non-digital stay-at-home physical exercise, which is excellent for families with restricted access to the internet.
As the COVID-19 epidemic has revealed, we are becoming increasingly dependent on digital technology. For those of us who are limited to our houses, it has become a lifeline. It's a good opportunity to reassess beliefs about children's usage of these gadgets, which are typically based on apprehensions about the unknown. To alleviate these anxieties, parents should use the additional time they have with their children while they are in lockdown to learn more about each other's digital and real worlds.
Does anyone have anything else to add? Well, I hope everyone's expectation is met in this discussion. Throughout the discussion, I noticed that the COVID-19 pandemic effects had wreaked havoc on people's daily lives in a short period of time. The transitional period to a new normal has arrived. Staying active and fit can significantly reduce the chance of illness. Regular physical exercise not only serves to strengthen immune function so that it can fight viruses more effectively, but it also helps to relax muscular functions, lower the likelihood of acquiring chronic diseases, and alleviate mental strain, all of which improve general mental health. What do you think, guys?
Absolutely.
Yep, I agree on this one.
Are we all clear about our discussion for today?
Yes.
Yes.
Before we wrap things up, I would like to inform you all that I will propose a free recreational facility to be built for elderly and the youth. The objective of this proposal is to encourage our citizens to live a healthier and more active life. The proposal plan will be sent through your respective email address. Please let me know if you have any comments or suggestions regarding this proposal. Before we wrap things up, let us show our support by showing the hashtag exercise makes you incredible. Does anyone have anything else to add?
We're okay. I think
All
we're
right,
okay.
guys. All right, guys. I guess that will be all for today. Thank you so much for your participation and cooperation in this discussion. Miss Laika Ann Black, Miss Madeline Mamuay, Miss Marifer Cabanday, and Miss Renalyn Sanchez. If there is no objection, we will now adjourn the meeting.
I second the motion.
Hearing no objection, this meeting is now adjourned.